Guys, welcome back to a Bitcoin update. The main topic of this video today is going to be giving you an understanding of the short and medium term structures for Bitcoin. We've spent a lot of time focusing on long term. I don't want to focus too much on that again. I'm going to be focusing on the support we've got at 24.5k, but not too much because again, we've spoken about that quite a bit. Overall, bringing in some new charts, some new analysis, short-term structures a lot of you might not have seen. And that's going to be the video. So I'll wrap it up by giving you my opinion on what's going on with Bitcoin and what I think is the best reaction to have. Guys, without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Okay guys, before we get into it, let's look into the charts we'll be discussing in this video. I'm going to keep this video nice and short. We have the daily chart, we have a new pattern forming on short term, which we'll look into and we'll reference that, cross-reference that for daily chart of course. We then have the range-bound construction on Bitcoin. I don't want to spend too much time on that. We've discussed it in the past multiple times. We're then going to be looking into brief analysis of the Bitcoin dominance chart. And finally, we'll end up by looking at the weekly chart, which is probably the most important chart of this video and actually probably the main topic of this video because the weekly chart has seen some bad candle closes. It didn't reach our targets and it's put us in a rough position on weekly. Not necessarily a rough position, but definitely a tough position. It's not really confirmed yet, but it certainly is not a good position to be in. We'll look into that in a second. Before we do any of that though, I want you to check out the VIP group. We have a 79% win rate on Telegram. We trade altcoins 3 to 5 times a week. We post exclusive market updates occasionally, trading tips occasionally, but mostly we are in there for the trading plans, for trading signals. Okay, so go ahead and check that out on Telegram. You can find the information group, join it for free. Check out the Bitget exchange. Bitget is going KYC, meaning you'll have to KYC from about the 1st of October, I believe. And that is going to be available for everyone in the world except for people in the USA and Canada. So if you're from any other country, sign up using my referral link for a 15% trading fee discount. And if you're from the USA or Canada, or you just want to sign up non-KYC to an exchange, which is fine as well, sign up using my referral link to the BingX exchange. This is a non-KYC exchange. All you need is an email address and a password, and you can get straight on here, start depositing and trading. Both have very low fees. Both have a 15% trading fee discount with my referral link. Go ahead and check them out. Okay, without further ado, let's dive into it. Alright guys, so I'm not going to keep you long today. Obviously the market's been boring. That's been reflected very well in the YouTube algorithm, believe me. But essentially, I'm going to go through the charts in basically the order I described them in the start of the video, except I'm going to move this chart to the front. So the first topic on the agenda is the Bitcoin range-bound chart. Range-bound chart displays something quite clear on a weekly basis. It displays fundamentally that 24.5k is a very, very important support zone for Bitcoin. Now that is a zone that we've held, for resistance back here in August 2022. It's a zone that we held for resistance also over here in February and also even January 2023. It's a zone we tested for support roughly in June. It's the zone we tested for support roughly 3 weeks ago. This is the major level that divides Bitcoin. It's the line in the sand for Bitcoin. I did a full analysis of it yesterday. It's the line that basically says whether Bitcoin is bullish or bearish. That yellow line I've just drawn there, that is what we need to be holding on a weekly chart basis. If we do see a weekly candle close below 24.5k, it becomes likely that we see more downside price action. And that downside price action, again, I've discussed in yesterday's video, that downside price action will likely take us to the low 20k region. Around that price point, we have an uptrending support line, which I can't actually show you right now from this chart, but I'll flip over and show you on a different chart. Around that kind of low 20k region, 21, 22k, we have an uptrending support line that's stemming back here from 2017. Okay, it goes through the 2018 lows, goes through the COVID, goes through the 2022 lows, and it comes around 20k. And if we lose, that major support zone, that red line at 24.5k, well, that's the next support, right? So again, I'll say it one more time, 24.5k. Let's go back to the previous chart here that we had. 24.5k, this yellow line is very important on a weekly basis. If we lose that, we will be going lower. It's quite literally as simple as that. That is the range-bound construction because 24.5k is the bottom of the current range, the top of the previous range, so we need to be holding that. As for the upside, 32k is our target. To the upside, we break above 32k, we re-enter the bull market territory that we were in during 2021 and 2020. Now, that doesn't mean we re-enter a bull market. It simply means we re-enter the bull market territory. There's a very big difference there. But nevertheless, it would be a very good step in the right direction. So Bitcoin is under pressure right now because it is sitting on support. And this green box I've got on my daily chart screen here is the 24.5k level. Now that 24.5k level on the weekly chart is the red dashed line. But overall, the actual support zone itself stems from around 24.2k to around 25.2k. So it's a very broad support. And it's very big, and there's a lot of orders there. If I was to show you order books, I could show you order books stacked with orders around that price region. But overall, I mean, what have we been doing now? Why is the market so boring? Well, we've been consolidating from the 18th of August to around now, which is the 5th of September, which is, basically, 3 weeks almost, in the same kind of price region, or 2.5 weeks, I should say, same kind of price region with one big move to the upside in between. And what is this price region? Well, it's a price region mainly, right, ignoring that move, mainly the price region is basically between around 26.8k and around 25.2k. Again, 25.2k being the top of that, green support box that is fundamentally layered by that weekly support at 24.5. I know I'm throwing out a lot of numbers, and I know these numbers might be disorientating or confusing to some people who haven't been paying close attention to the markets, but I assure you that all of these numbers are actually necessary for the Bitcoin analysis. You do actually need to understand these numbers. You do need to understand the importance of the 25.2 to 24.2 level, and how 24.5 specifically is important on the weekly chart. Unfortunately, that's just part of the game. That's just what it is. So what are we doing right now on the daily chart? Well, we're on pretty strong support. That's a good sign, I guess. We do also have Bollinger Bands compressing quite tightly. And what this means, as you can see, very, very tight compression there. What this means is that, basically when you see a move happen, the Bollinger Bands expand. And when they start to compress again, it's indicative of another move forming. You don't generally see the Bollinger Bands compressed for very long periods of time. In fact, over here was probably the longest period of time we've seen Bollinger Bands compressed like that in a very, very, very long period of time. In fact, probably 2 or 3 years, right? We don't generally see Bollinger Bands compress for a very long time. As you can see historically, they compress for short periods of time, and those short periods of time are always preceding large moves to the upside. For example, a great example of that would be 2022 bottom, I should say, from December to late December. Very tight compression and then a strong move, right? So what are we seeing right now? Well, we're seeing Bollinger Bands compress once more, which is good news for Bitcoin because it means that volatility is on the way. But it's also slightly daunting news because we don't know what that volatility is going to do for Bitcoin. Will it destroy the Bitcoin structure by sending us downwards? Well, there's certainly a very good chance of that, right? I'm not going to say it's certain because it's not. We are on support here, and you guys know how I like to operate in the market. If you don't know who I am, perhaps it's your first time watching me, I'm a breakout trader. I don't trade before the breakouts occur, and for the vast majority of my trades, actually. And I think that's the best way you can possibly trade. I think especially when you're discussing a macro Bitcoin position, you shouldn't be rushing into a sell order while we're on major support. You should simply be waiting for a 5% move to the downside for that support to break before selling. Why would you not do that? It baffles me as to why people are so quick to make emotionally led decisions. Just wait for the confirmation. Otherwise, you're going to get wrecked on a long-term basis. If you do that enough, you're going to make the wrong decision enough, in which case it's going to bite you in the bottom. That's simply how it's going to happen. So yeah, look, Bollinger Band compression. Gaussian channel doesn't look particularly good on a daily, unfortunately, but daily chart Gaussian channel's never really been a massively important indicator. I mean, let's be honest here, it hasn't. And we've already seen enough of the adequate downside move for that Gaussian channel to be triggered. We could see a move to the upside. I do want to point out the fact that Bitcoin is not in a terrible, terrible position on a daily. Yes, I understand the fact that we have a double top, that's for sure. I understand the fact that we've been consolidating on support without a bounce for a long period of time now. I understand the fact that we were rejected from resistance. But we do have a chance here, we do have hope. And we do have hope because of the 15-minute chart. And I don't want to make it seem like it's bullish because it's not. Realistically, what are we in on the 15-minute chart? Well, and this is stemming back to the start of September, by the way, so it's a 4-day of market pattern here. What do we have in the 15-minute? In fact, let's go to the hourly, give us a better view. What do we have in the hourly? Well, we have, a bearish pennant formation, and that's not good. And bearish pennant formations generally do lead to moves to the downside, so I can't sit here and tell you it's bullish, because it's not. But I can tell you that there is a chance that this could result in something bullish, because I'll tell you right now, if we do break out of this pennant to the upside, which is the lower likelihood, but it is possible, if we do break this pennant to the upside, what do we form? Well, we form a double bottom formation, don't we? Because we have the first bottom here, we have a move to the upside here, and we have the second bottom over here. So there is actually a chance that Bitcoin does harness the full strength of this support box here. Perhaps we see a liquidity wick downwards, but perhaps we see a double bottom formation, which case Bitcoin will be in a not a particularly bad position. So I'm not going to count the eggs or count the chickens before they hatch. That's not how I operate on this YouTube channel. I'm simply saying that Yes, we are not in a good position. Yes, we have formed a bearish structure here, but I don't want to, say, oh, get out of the market, sell, because I don't think it's entirely to that point yet. I do still think that Bitcoin is on a very, very major support zone. In fact, probably the most major support zone we have remaining on Bitcoin, to be honest with you. I mean, we've lost quite a lot. So I don't think rushing into a decision is going to do you any good. Right now, we do have a pennant formation, and that is coming to an apex in the next 2 days. And the directional move from that pennant formation will be very indicative of what happens for Bitcoin. Now, that's, of course, assuming we don't see a fake out, and that's, of course, assuming we don't see this yellow line here act as the real bottom line of the pennant, in which case we'd be seeing a much longer consolidation. But ultimately, I do think this upper line, this upper yellow line, is very valid, and breaking that to the upside would be a great step in the right direction. Okay, so that's my opinion on short term. Ultimately, I do think that right now, even as I speak, currently, we are seeing brief resistance here at 25.8, which is a vague resistance zone. That's not ideal. Again, I'm not sitting here telling you it's bullish. I'm simply telling you that it's not like the end of the world doomsday bearish yet. Once we lose this level on the weekly, 24.5 on the weekly, that's when it becomes something like that. As for moving, we'll move forward here. I think Bitcoin dominance is something that people don't give enough credit to for Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is a chart that simply displays the dominance of Bitcoin in the market, right? If it's at 49% like it is right now, that means that we have 49% of the capital in the cryptocurrency market in Bitcoin, and the rest, the remaining 50.8%, is in altcoins, right? So when this thing goes up, it means that Bitcoin is gaining dominance in the market. When it goes down, it means that Bitcoin is losing dominance in the market. As you can see, during the last bear market, Bitcoin gained dominance in the market. We've done the same thing ever since the bottom. Bitcoin has been gaining dominance in the market. Why, how is that explained? Well, it's explained quite simply. When the market is in a bad position, like it has been for a while, discounting this year, for example, last year it was in a bad position, people flock into Bitcoin. They move away from altcoins and they flock into Bitcoin. And they seek safety, and Bitcoin is the safest asset in the cryptocurrency market. It's been around the longest. It has the lowest volatility. Well, obviously that's an overstatement, but generally speaking, its volatility is lower, and that's what people want for safety. It's a very safe asset. It's very secure. It's the most talked about asset. It's the most likely asset to survive a bear market. Okay, that's why people flock to Bitcoin. Now, the Bitcoin dominance chart on a more intricate level, going to the daily chart, for example, okay, actually has market patterns of its own, right? It has, these formations, these triangles, these wedges, these channels, and as you can see, we've formed a numerous amount of formations throughout the move upwards on Bitcoin, okay? And we've seen breakouts to the upside, for example, on January 13th, we saw a breakout to the upside. On March 13th, we saw a breakout to the upside. On June 9th, let's go ahead and cross-check those dates. January 13th, what were we doing on Bitcoin? January 13th, we started this massive move to the upside, okay? March 13th, we started another massive move to the upside. And June 9th, okay, we started another massive move to the upside. The fact of the matter is, the Bitcoin dominance chart and the formations that it forms, right? The pennants, the channels, the wedges are indicative of what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Fortunately for us, okay, we can identify using this trend that the Bitcoin dominance chart is in a descending channel formation currently. That means it is likely to break to the upside, which is actually bullish for Bitcoin. It gives Bitcoin a glimmer of hope, because if the Bitcoin dominance chart is looking good, Bitcoin is looking good. And the Bitcoin dominance chart is not only looking good in the fact that it has a channel formation, it's also looking good in the fact that it's on major support here on this green box. And if we're zooming back through history, we can see this green box acted as support and resistance on multiple occasions in the Bitcoin dominance price history. So realistically, Bitcoin dominance is actually one of the things that I'm looking at for Bitcoin as a potential saving grace. If we do break this channel to the upside in time, that would be great. Unfortunately, when it comes to channel formations, and this is the complicating factor, as there always is one, unfortunately, when it comes to channel formations, you can see downwards price action for a very long period of time before you break upwards. I do think we will eventually break upwards, but I think by then there is a chance it could be too late. That's the problem. But overall, Bitcoin dominance is leaning bullish, and it does give Bitcoin a bit of a buff to that bullish scenario, that bullish case. And finally, I want to end this video by looking into the Bitcoin weekly chart, because this is, as I said at the start of the video, probably the most pressing matter for Bitcoin in terms of what's happened in the last week, right? Okay, so what are we looking at on the weekly chart? First and foremost, bull market support band. I barely even need to explain this to people in the cryptocurrency market at this point. This has been talked about so many times by so many different YouTubers, but I will explain it for the sake of people who might be missing out on what's happened just very briefly. Bull market support band is a band on Bitcoin, a support band, a resistance band on Bitcoin that is basically derived from a 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. If you just look at the chart, just look at the screen here and see, when we get above this band, we see dramatic support offered by it. When we get below this band, we see dramatic resistance offered by it. It's as simple as that. As of right now, we have seen a breakdown from the bull market support band in the last 3 weeks. 3 consecutive weekly candles below the bull market support band. That is not very good at all. We saw a strong wick to the upside, a rejection from bull market support band on the last weekly candle we formed. Unfortunately, there was a chance, or I should say, fortunately, but it didn't play out. There was a chance we were going to copy something like what we did here in 2022, which is when we saw a strong red candle, a doji candle, and a strong green candle. The opposite of that was a strong green candle, a doji candle, and a red candle. That is called an evening star formation. This is called a morning star formation. Okay, could be the other way around, but the fact of the matter is one of them is bullish, one of them is bearish, and there was a chance we were copying what we did here to the reverse, which would have been bullish for Bitcoin, would have led to the move upwards. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to do that. We saw a wick, and it rejected quite strongly, and as of right now, we're seeing consecutive closes below bull market support band, which historically has been very bad for Bitcoin. It's very rare, okay, it does happen, but it's very, very rare for Bitcoin to see strong closes below bull market support band, and then just somehow miraculously reverse and get back above it. It's rare. But I do think that, as long as we hold 24.5K, it cannot be discounted that there is a possibility that we get back above bull market support band on Bitcoin. So I'm not willing to completely throw out the weekly chart. I know how it looks. Yes, the bull market support band is gone now, but I do believe that this 24.5K support is worth considering until it's lost. And I do believe there is a chance we get back above bull market support band. And the reason I believe that is because not only because of the weekly chart support, but also because of Gaussian channel. Gaussian channel is not lost. Yes, the bull market support band is lost, but the Gaussian channel is not. And the Gaussian channel is actually a stronger indicator than the bull market support band on the weekly chart. The Gaussian channel center line, you'll notice there's 3 specific bands in the Gaussian channel. There's one very thick one, there's 2 very thin ones. And the center line, the thickest one, is one of the strongest indicators that Bitcoin has on the macro scale. When we move through the center line of the Gaussian channel, we move through the band itself and we continue to make dramatic returns, okay? So the direction that we move through the Gaussian channel center line is the direction we continue through and see a massive move. That has happened, okay, on 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Oh, just change the screen there, I'll bring it back 1 second. That has happened on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all right, 7 during COVID, 8, 9 occasions, okay? We're on the 9th occasion right now, but on 8 confirmed occasions, when we move through this center line of the Gaussian channel, we move through it dramatically and see a dramatic move to the upside. We moved through the center line. We held the center line for a period of time. We moved upwards. We didn't see the dramatic move we were hoping for. Right now, we're back within the Gaussian channel. We're testing the center line for support. The center line, the support that is offered by it, is reinforcing 24.5K. I am not willing to accept that Bitcoin is in a terrible macro position until we lose 24.5K because I am simply not willing to deny TA. I am being objective. I am looking at the charts. We have a Gaussian channel trend that has never failed with the center line of the Gaussian channel. That center line of the Gaussian channel is reinforcing a very major support zone for Bitcoin. Okay, when we drop below the center line, when we drop below 24.5K, that's when I will flip more bearish. At this point in time, I'm remaining objective with my analysis. I'm not sitting here saying Bitcoin is in a bullish position. It is not in a bullish position. But I'm also not sitting here and saying that Bitcoin is in the end days, it's all over, because it's not. The fact of the matter is, we still have a major hurdle for the bears to get over before we can start saying that Bitcoin is actually looking long-term bearish. At this point in time, the Gaussian channel, a trend that has not been broken ever, is supporting a very major support zone. And that's where the case is rested. That's the simple reality for Bitcoin. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's bullish. It's not. We shouldn't be this low. If it was bullish, we wouldn't be this low. But the fact of the matter is, it's not overly bearish yet. And that's how I'm going to end the video. And I'll leave it there. So guys, thank you for watching the video. Check out the Crypto Academy, become a trader 10-unit course. All of the information is on the website if you are interested. You can read the bio of the course on the website, get an idea about what it is all about. You can get an idea of the unit topics, what we offer within the units. Again, that's on the website, and you can finally throw us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with all the relevant payment information. And you can ask us any questions on that email address as well. So we have about 138 students now, and you can become one of them. Guys, thank you for watching. Check out the Bitget exchange, check out BingX, check out the VIP, all the information's in the bio, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.